Colleagues, we continue our work and we give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good day, dear colleagues, and we have good news today. During the last 24 hours, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed or injured. In Lugansk area, there was only one armed provocation of the enemy. In the evening, the militants fired with a grenade launcher near Sokilniki village, near Bakhmutovska highway. In Donetsk area, near Svetlodarsk water reservoir, the militants made provocation, and they used a grenade launcher and small arms. In the north neighborhoods of Gorlievka and Zaitsevo and Mayorsk, the enemy made several provocations and twice they observed the activity of snipers. In the rest of the front area there was calm and ceasefire continued. Near Talakivka village in the neighborhoods of Mariupol, our border guards observed one drone of the enemy. The president, Petro Poroshenko, signed an order to decorate 138 servicemen of the Ukrainian armed forces. Among the decorated, there are 92 servicemen who were killed and 46 wounded. Servicemen who died and got injured in the course of the military actions near Lavaysk, Debaltseva, and in Artemivska and Mariupolska area during August 2014 till July 2015. The paratroopers of 79th Brigade returned home to Nikolaev from the east, and they carried out the tasks. So their relatives and friends and volunteers welcomed them and thanked them for the defense of the territorial integrity of Ukraine. The activists of the city created for them an improvised glory corridor and greeted each hero. So training continues in Mariupolshina, and they were trained to fire with anti-tank weapon Rapira that can be used against armed vehicles or to fight against positions of the enemy. They continue training in Mariupol direction. The guys are trained to stop attacks of the enemy and to cooperate with other forces, and commanders say that they are trained each day and they are ready to protect Mariupol in case of attack of the enemy. In Luganshina, SBU detained a man who cooperated with the so-called LPR. And these days a person provided information to the occupants. This man was provided to his curators the information to which he had an access. He provided the fragments of letters of secret information and the information about patriots among and activists of pro-Ukrainian organizations. So we hear his confessions now. And in August this year, at the checkpoint, I met a separatist, and he asked me for cooperation, and his name was Frolov, and he served in LPR, and I gave him data through electronic mail and about the information of SBU, and I provided him with information of different kinds. So Ukrainian law enforcement officers stopped the channel of illegal coal from the uncontrolled territories. The schemes existed since the beginning of 2015, and they used documents and firms with double registration that legalized state funds and conducted illegal activities. Ukrainian law enforcement officers searched offices and houses, and they confiscated documentation that provide information on the sums of $70,000 of the United States. The investigation continues. In Mariupol, they found 90 cartridges for machine gun Kalashnikov. And this local resident he joined DPR in 2014, and there are grounds to believe that this man left the country, but he will be found and he will be brought to justice. Humanitarian aid continues to arrive through the Bugas checkpoint. 16 trucks carried 275 tons of food from the Red Cross organizations for local residents of the occupied territories. Hospitals got help from Canada. Ambulances with medicines and equipment that are ready to be used to provide assistance in Kharkiv, Dniprovsk, and the medical equipment and medicines cost about $100,000, and this is the ambulances for Ukraine project. There will be more from 12 to 16 cars from Canada. This is realized by the medical associations of Canada and administration of one of the Canadian and from one of the provinces of Canada. There are many unexploded ordnances in the soil of Donbas territory. Each time risking their life, field engineers work in the fields, and they know that they don't have a chance for mistake. They not only demine, they also provide different repair works, because when the militants left many traps, and they use all the arsenal to find these mines of the militants, and the work of the engineer is very dangerous, and they continue to carry out tasks, and they understand that each mine, each booby trap that was deactivated is the saving of someone's life. If you have some questions or comments, please. Please introduce yourself and ask the question. Violeta Tarasenko, Novosti, News of Donbass. Today at 10 a.m. they started some tank training from the side of the militants. So maybe after the election in the DPR, what will be the reaction of the president? Because no one knows what is happening. Let's start from the second question. So these elections are questionable. If these elections are conducted by the separatists and if they are not held according to Ukrainian legislation, so there should be observers there, and also there should be international observers and then our colleagues, journalists. And there's no situation for the election in this area. As to the movements in Donetsk of military equipment and militants, yes, we have the information from our sources and from intelligence sources. There is some regrouping, but we observe this, and in case if this military equipment will be directed to the line of contact, and if it advances, it will be destroyed. Good day. Tell us, please. I understand that maybe it's difficult to give an answer to this question, but maybe you will tell us so, help us. Maybe tomorrow, or you can sell. I ask about the Ministry of Defense. We won't tell how we call it. The thing is, I lost a lot of time, and I can. There's Tatiana Popova in the ministry. I did everything I could. I asked about the plans to find real information. What is there in ATO area? I can't. How to contact, how to address them, these people in the ministry? Why? The Ministry of Defense is closed, and I can't just address them or to phone them. You can phone, or you can use an email, but no one gives you an answer. And I will contact this person you name here, and will help you and to provide you with an answer that you want to get. Information agency Krymsky News. As to information about the delivery of coal from the territory, the militants said that they stopped providing coal to the Ukrainian territory. And after they declared this, what happened then? Any freight that goes across the line of contact without the proper documentation, it is detained, and the investigation starts. So this is an illegal freight. regardless of whether it is coal, or food, or something else. The fiscal bodies compensate the freight. We have a state, and we should adhere to the law. So the delivery of coal continues. So you confirm this fact. As I know, our power plants that use coal, they get the coal from the occupied territory, but what are the conditions of these deliveries, I don't know. Do you have any other questions or comments? No questions? Thank you, Colonel. Thank you. We will have at 2 o'clock a briefing about Cherepodov